If you look at between 2009 and 2014, about 60 billion rand of investment came from the UK to South Africa. About 440,000 tourists came from the UK to South Africa. So the UK is a very important business partner, but I think also the Innova Brics conference looks at the condition of emerging markets and focuses on promoting, profiling South Africa as a trade partner, as an investment destination.
And now, of course, South Africa is going through a very tumultuous time with economic growth having been downgraded to just under 1.5%. What does this mean for South Africa going into this conference? Are we looked at in a different light at all?
You know, not really. I think if you look on balance and the performance of the global economy, only this year are we beginning to see some positive signs out of the crisis-affected countries still in the Eurozone. So I think all countries, South Africa, the UK, Spain, you know, we are all looking for investment and new trade opportunities. So I think it's a very good opportunity to go as a country to showcase our accomplishments. I think that's one of the key agenda items from the South African side. And then if you look at the delegation, it's the Minister of Finance, it's Minister Rob Davies, Trade and Industry, it's Minister Faith Mutambi, Minister for Communications, and the team is led by Minister Jeff Radebe from the presidency. So it's a very strong team taking a very consistent message of a country that we are growing. It's not as if there's been zero growth,
Absolutely,
so that's very important. But I think, of course, the target is for us as a country is to create jobs, to attract the necessary investment and to open new opportunities. And I think it's become a much more hard sell in a world that's been affected by this very long-term downturn in the global economy, especially as a country we are very exposed to our trade to the Eurozone. So it's a nice opportunity to just go and reinforce the message of the country and to sell us even stronger.
Speaking about selling and showcasing ourselves, what exactly do we bring to the table as South Africa?
You know, if you look, for example, 3 independent indices this year, for example, we improved quite dramatically as a country on infrastructure. World Economic Forum, the Mo Ibrahim Index of African Governance, the IMD Global Competitiveness Index. You know, so what we see is, from an infrastructure profiling point of view, it's a key attractiveness feature. It's an area where we've been making quite a lot of breakthroughs as a country in the last few years. So that's a key selling point. Another very strong area for us as a country is actually the diversified nature of our economy. You know, if you look at the structure of the GDP, we offer quite a range of opportunities.
Yes.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the economic and trade relations between South Africa and the UK. How would you assess these?
You know, as I indicated earlier, you know, roughly between 2009 and 2014, about 60 billion rand of investment came from the UK into South Africa. I know the UK Trade and Invest Office also, in line with 20 years of democracy, they've got a very interesting project where they talk about 20 projects for 20 years of democracy. So there's a unique focus also in the business relationship and a lot of interest, you know, that we find from business partners in the UK, because they're also looking at expansion opportunities into emerging markets.
I'm glad you mentioned the issue of interest, because just this morning we woke up to news of the soccer captain Senzo Meyiwa being killed. And to what extent does crime affect statistics or South Africa's attractiveness as a whole?
You know, we find it as a concern in our international investor perception research. We find it in our monitoring on the country and reporting on South Africa. We do find that that's an important issue. We have been making advances as a country, but it's very unfortunate, you know, when an incident like this happens, you know, because then you have to go out much stronger and saying, what have we been achieving as a country in the fight against crime, to contextualize it. You know, so it's unfortunate when you have these kind of very high profile cases, you know, that then kind of one has to just do a harder job at contextualizing and reassuring investors, you know, that South Africa is still open for business, which is part of the mission of going to the Innova Brics conference.
Dr. De Kock, so much has been said about the National Development Plan and Vision 2063. Do you think that British business people and companies care about this National Development Plan that we've been selling to the world?
I do think so. You know, if I think of the effect that it has when in our direct interactions with international stakeholders, or just telling the story of the country, you know, it's a story to tell of what we've done in 20 years of democracy. But then when you look at the NDP and Vision 2030, it's where are we taking the country? Where do we want to go as a nation? How do we want to address poverty alleviation, job creation, infrastructure improvement, you know, on the hard and the soft side? So I think it helps tremendously, you know, to contextualize what the country is about. acknowledging what our challenges are, and then reaching out, like in the case of the Innova Brics, reaching out to our global partners and saying, but this is the road that we are on as a country. Join us, and see to it that together we can reach the ultimate goals.
I know that one of the most important things or challenges that South Africa faces is the issue of unemployment. And just tomorrow we have unemployment figures coming out. Does the level of unemployment in the country affect how the country is seen from outside?
It would have an impact, in terms of people asking questions about, the social conditions that then is caused by high levels of unemployment. However, I think it also is important then also to look at it in the context of, yes, we've got a very high unemployment rate, but we're not the only country that suffers from that phenomenon.
Yeah.
So I think the important thing is to constantly showcase what's our strategy as a country to grow and expand the economy, to grow and expand our international relations. And I think some of the viewers may also be aware, that as a country we're quite exposed to global dynamics, and therefore our global effort must be part of reaching those targets, of creating the opportunities, especially in the youth. That's a critical area that we need intervention in, because that's actually the area that will deliver the goals of Vision 2030 and the NDP.
This is a 2-day summit. At the end of the summit, what outcomes can we look forward to?
I think there's going to be a lot of work in the sessions today. If I look at the profile of the speakers, like the very high profile speakers from the City of London, the key economic advisor to the City of London, from high level business, Barclays and so forth. I think by tomorrow what will happen more is much more business talk. What are the actual opportunities? That's why it's important that the Minister of Finance and Trade and Industry are there, because in their hats they have the whole list of opportunities, the special economic zones, the business opportunities that there are. So it will be a lot of information sharing on actually, if you want to come to South Africa, where do you direct your investment or your effort in the economy?